Hi, I'm going to show you a tutorial to make a very simple map applications. So this TV is basically my home screen and it's connected via HDMI cable. So let's go to the app. This is just like a very simple Google Map applications, but if you tap on any place on the screen, it will add in this Android icon. Okay, let's go to the lesson.
This video is intended for those of you who are still kind of new in Android, but you still need to have at least a basic experience in programming, specifically in object-oriented, because the main language for Android development is Java, so you better get used to that. I've written down the 6 steps which I think will get you the fastest possible way to write that applications I show you in the beginning of this video. Of course, you are free to read all the documentations on the web, but if you only have like 10-15 minutes times and you just want to get hands-on on Android development, then this video is definitely for you. So the first step is to get yourself a SDK bundle. And where to get that from? Of course, from the Android website. So you just need to type in this developer.android.com and it will bring you to this page where you can download a lot of very important tools and documents about Androids. So I suggest you to just bookmark this page, since later on, if you're very interested, you're going to go here quite often. Since right now we're only interested in downloading an SDK, just type in /SDK. The website offered me to download the bundle for Windows, since right now I'm using Windows. But don't worry, if you have Mac OS or Linux, it has the compatible version for your platform as well. The bundle comes with Eclipse for the IDE, and the Eclipse comes with the ADT plugin, which stands for Android Development Tools. And it also comes with this latest SDK library, which right now is this version 17. So yeah, just click on this button. It'll bring you to the terms and conditions. I don't have time to read all of these, but you can read it. After that, you can check I have read and download. So as you can see, the download size is around 400 megabytes, so it's quite big. After you finish downloading, just unzip into your local folder. I suggest you, if you're using Windows, just download to yours under C drive or D drive directly. So it will make your SDK root path shorter. After you finish downloading that gigantic package, then you can unzip it. I told you before, I unzip under my C drive, so here it is. And right now we're ready to create a new applications. Just go to your SDK root path and then go to Eclipse and launch this eclipse.exe. So here are my Eclipse window. Right now it's quite empty, so right now we're going to write new applications. So just type in this new and choose the Android application project. This will bring us to the wizard to create a new applications. For the application name, I suggest just use my app, and then just leave this part alone. We go next, and then the project by default will get created under our workspace, which for Windows user will be under their user profile. Type next. This launcher icon will be, we won't need to worry about this, but later on we're going to use this as a marker for our map. So just type next. And just choose the blank activity. It will give us a blank window in our Android. Just leave everything as is. So our activity name is main activity, associated layout is activity_main, and just leave this part alone and finish. So after the wizard complete, it will create a directory package under your workspace. There are several files here, but I just want to explain to you about 3 most important files which I think define your application. First one is Android manifest file. So this one basically tells about some high-level stuff in your application. For example, like this one, it only contains one activity. You probably wonder why I speak about this activity, what it is. It's basically a basic unit of Android applications. Every application has one or more activity. In our case, it's only one here, which is the main activity. So this one basically refers to the second important files, which I want to explain to you about, the activities. So this main activity extends regular normal activity, and it's supposed to override some of the very important functions, and we need to implement that here. as you can see here, the onCreate, which this function will be called upon launching the applications. It will, on this case, right now it's only execute the set content view, and it will referring to this layout. R means resource, .layout means .resource.layout folder, and then activity underscore mains, basically referring to this. And open this one. So the ATT, the good thing about it, it comes with the WYSIWYG editor. What you see is what you get. Basically, this one only is an XML file which contains only one text view, which says "Hello World," which is shown here with the editor. So this is very simple functions. Right now, it's runnable, of course. I just want to explain to you about one more icon. It comes in REST Android drawable, which is this one. It's right now it's good to know, but we're not going to do anything about it. So right now we're just going to run our applications. So I told you before, it's runnable directly. Currently my development station is connected to my phone, and then I'm going to show you my phone here, and I'm just going to go to the app here and run it. Let's wait for a while. As you can see right now, it's running. It just I told you, just showing a simple hello world. If I do something here, it doesn't really do anything. Even if I press menu, it doesn't show any menu. So that's actually our basic applications. The next step in our agenda is to download the Google Play Service library. You probably ask, why do we need to download additional library after we download such a big 400 megabyte from the Android website? Well, the simple answer is because Google doesn't want to bundle it together, since it's their commercial code. And why do we need it? The reason is because we needed all the Google Maps, Google Places on everything that use the Google service server. It require this library to run. So we definitely want to download it. But don't worry, it's very simple. You can just go to the Windows and launch the Android SDK managers, which is this one for me. And you can find the Google Play Service library under Extras. This is the one. So basically, this SDK manager, it tells you the things which are available for download, but some of them you haven't downloaded yet. For me, I have downloaded this one. It's installed on my development side. But for you, definitely, if you just download it, it won't get there by default. So you need to take on this and install package. It will take for a while because I remember it's quite big as well. After finish installing, we're going to make full use of the things we just download. Now we can go to the libraries, go to import, and choose existing Android code. Browse. We can browse now to the SDK path, extras, and these are the things that we just download now. Choose the Google Play Service and press OK. So inside that particular folder, there's several projects that is ready to be downloaded into our workspace, but we only need 2 right now. And those are this part, the library project, which is the main, the libraries that it's really needed for those applications required Google service. The second one is the sample map. We are going to use this as our reference. So choose these 2 and take the copy projects into workspace, because without this, our application will not be able to refer to those projects which is not physically inside the workspace. Click finish. Now those 2 are in our workspace, so we need to refer to this Google Play Service library. Once it's there in the workspace, we can refer to it. So you just need to right click on there and add here this Android stuff there, and choose OK. After finish referring to the library, right now we're going to create our very first map applications, which we're just going to do that by modifying our previous applications. So we need to have the fastest way to do that is just by referring to this sample map application from from Android, which it has basically sometimes one of them is just showing the map, some of them is just showing how marker is being there, but there's nothing about how the user can add in a marker just by touch it, which we're going to achieve that one later. To do that, we're going to just show the map without touching first. We just show the map and make sure it runs. To do that, we're going to change two of the three important files that I told you before. The first one is this Android manifest. This is our map app manifest. We're going to change some of the things here because the nature of the applications is changed. That's why we need to change this part as well. So we need to take a look at this Android manifest from the map sample applications. So we're going to copy over some of the stuff. One of the things here are this first one is the use permissions. Basically, this use permission tells that what kind of permissions is required from the user to authorize when they first time installing. Without this, for example, like the first one, the internet, without this one being put here, if the application calls something related to the internet API, then it will fail. That's why you need to add all of these. The first one, internet, definitely for the map to access internet. The second one, this one is the key to access the Google servers. The third one is to write external storage, because sometimes the map requires some offline cache to store some of the bitmap. And the fourth and the fifth one is to access the the user location based on GPS or network-based location service. So I just copy everything, all the five, into our manifest file. Just paste it under use SDK. And the second one would be this part. It shows there the Maps API and OpenGL. OpenGL basically it's just like it's open source for image processing. So the Google Map basically makes use of that support inside the Android. Add this one as well. And the last one and the most troublesome one is this part. It's the key. Like I told before, the Google API service is commercial code, and then we need to download some data from their server. That's why the Google asks for every application that they want to access some data from the server to have this key. This key basically is used for Google to identify any unique applications, and they want to monitor the usage and everything. That's why it's a bit troublesome, but right now just copy over everything. Here it doesn't have any value, but we're going to get that value later on. It's under application tag, so paste it under the same place as well. Okay, the next one is to modify our layout. So this is our current layout. From the graphical editor, it shows like this one, but we're going to change it. We're going to change at identical way with this basic map layout. These are the one. Basically, this part will be where the map will be shown, but right now it's not there because it needs required download. So we're going to copy paste. We're going to copy everything. So just copy everything and change our activity main into exactly identical. And save it. There, it becomes the same, but the preface is just that it still use our app name. The last thing after you change the layout is to make sure the activities, our activities, this main activity.java is ready to make this XML file, the activity_main, to be our layout. We need to change this part because the normal activity doesn't support that containing the fragment into its own layout. So we need to change this part as well. We just go again to the basic map activity. As you can see here now, this one doesn't extend to just normal activities. It's something called fragment activity. We also need to follow this sample as well. So change it. By default, your Eclipse won't show any kind of error message or something because this part by default, it has already part of our libraries. If you just download this ADT bundle, by right, it's there. This is Android 4.2 support, so it won't show any kind of error. So after this all finished, we're now ready to download to get our API key. To get the Google API key, we're going to get it from the website. So first thing to do, we just go to google.com and search for this Google API console, and then the first search result, just click on that, which will going to bring us to this place. If you haven't really had this servers activated, the Google probably will ask you to register with your Google account. So right now, this is the overall status of my servers, which right now I have already enabled it, but for you, I believe you haven't. Don't worry, just go to the servers part in the tab and go to the Google Map Android API version 2. And by default, this one was off, so you need to manually turn this one on. As you can see here, there's some courtesy limit. Some of the servers basically it's not free. It means, so this courtesy limits means you have there is 25,000 requests per day for free. If you want to have more, then you need to pay some more to Google. But right now it's okay. Don't need to take care of that. Right now we just go, after we enable the servers, we go to the API access. So it will bring us to this page. I'm sorry, I need to censor some of the stuff here because this is quite a personal certificate, which I don't want people to misuse it. But don't worry, if you want to have your own key, then you can grab it for free from here. So just go down and create new Android key. So to create a new Android key, the Google required you to give some informations. The key will be created by using this kind of two inputs. The first one is your debug certificate, SHA1's fingerprint, and the second one is your application name. So how to get that information? Okay, basically those information are available in your local computer. Now we're ready to get all the required informations. The first one is to get the certificate informations. So basically an application, any applications that if they want to run on the Android device, they need to be signed with a certificate. You probably wonder why we purposely can run our Hello World applications on the device, because it gets automatically signed by your debug certificate, which you don't really realize it because it's done automatically. But we're going to make use of that certificate and gather the information for this Google to create a key. So you just copy or paste on this part, the command, the key tool. I'm not really sure whether you have the key tool because the key tool itself comes with the Java JRE. So if you haven't really had JRE installed on your device, on your computer, then it's better to install it first. So as you can see, the key tool came from my JRE6 Java. If you haven't really downloaded yet, you won't be able to execute this command. But I'm going to execute it. Sorry. Let's copy again. And then now the path to our certificate. So if you're using Windows, by default, it'll get created under your user profile. Go to D, Profiles. This is my user account, .android. So this debug.keystore are your certificate. So you need to have this one. So copy over the full path. And then the system will ask you for a password. Just type in Android. There you go. Where do I get that information? That I need to put the password as Android. It's basically, it tells on some documentation outside. So just for right now, just type in first, and you can get this kind of information there. Here is the SHA fingerprint of your debug certificate. So I'm going to copy that over into our form. And the next one, you need to have your package name. So the package name for our applications, if you follow my instruction, then you'll get the package name to be .com sorry, column.example.myapp. So we're going to write that. Create. And then these are the new key that is created just for you. And these are, you need to copy this one over into your manifest file. The value, done. Okay, so right now, after this one finish, by right, it's supposed to be able to run on your device. So just go to my app, and I told you before, my phone is basically connected to the device, to this my development stations. So I'm just going to run it. Yep, as you can see, it works perfectly nice. It's just showing a basic map, but you can basically play just as if you're playing with the Google map. You just go pan around, look some other places, and of course you can zoom in and zoom out. So that's okay, but right now we're going to change that furthermore. Now we're ready to do our last implementation, which is to add the touch and add marker to our application. So the first thing, if it just happened that you purposely is not able to show the map, just a regular basic map on your app, and it just show my app without showing the map, then that's probably means you're something wrong with the API key. But if you're successful, then right now we're ready to go to our next steps. So the first thing, if you want to get something from the map, if you want to modify the map, then we need to get a handle for that map. So how to get the handle? First thing I want you to show here is this our layout, and as I told you previously, that this fragment basically is like an abstraction of our map, and it has this ID which we can refer to get the abstractions. So let's go to the basic map activity again, the basic map sample, and this is the place. This is the place where the application grabbing that handle. So you just need to copy this one over to our own create, so it'll get created. It'll grab the handle once the application is launching. As you can see here, this one got perfectly automatically generated, but we're not going to have the support map fragment from our map sample. We're going to get it from someplace else. This one, import from this GMS. GMS is part of the Google Maps service, and we're going to refer to that class from this particular package. And now this mmap, if you see the basic map activity, mmap is a Google Map class. So just copy over to our main activity and declare one variable, private variable. Again, since we just copy paste, the Eclipse did this automatically, but that's not the case. The Google Map need to be imported from the correct package. Save it, and should be okay now. Now we just have the map handle, how to modify. The first thing, it needs to implement one class called OnMapClick event. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, it's OnMapClick listener. So what it does, this application, since it implements that click listener, it needs to add this unimplemented method on OnMapClick. So this method basically calls every time that the user touch any particular place on our applications. It will call this function together with this argument lat&lang, which is the latitude and longitude location of the map. So we're going to create exactly the marker exactly at that position. But to do that, to know that our class is expecting that this method calling, we need to set something first. Set OnMapClick listener. That's right. So expecting something class which implements this OnMapClick listener, which is this activity. So just type this. Now the link is set. So the last thing to do is to implement this part. So just add marker. expecting something from the marker option class. You can take a look at this later on, but right now just type it. And then you need to define the position, which is this argument 0. Let's change this to something meaningful name. Position. And then for the icon, we want to grab something from our the Android icon, which is already declared here under our resource drawable, this IC launcher. So how to do that? Basically, this icon is expecting something from the bitmap descriptor class, which we can create by calling the factory function. Bitmap descriptor. Factory dot get from resource. So the resource is r dot drawable, since it's located under this drawable folder, dot IC launcher. Okay, save it. You need to import this definition as well. Okay, everything set. Now we're ready to launch the applications again. Just type on this and it will launch. So let's try see. Okay, it seems like it looks well now. Let's try to tap it. Okay, as you can see, it works really well. And that will be the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, just leave a comment.